The movie opens with a sequence where a youngster named Loh Kiwan is observed cleaning blood away with a damp rag as he weeps. The scene shifts to Loh Kiwan aboard an aircraft. Loh Kiwan, a North Korean who had been living in China, is now en route to Belgium with a broker's help. At the airport, the broker instructs Loh Kiwan and his group to reply in English if questioned in French, signaling their lack of understanding of the language. Loh Kiwan feels nervous at the airport, but no one interrogates him about the broker who arranged his trip. When asked for an address, the broker leaves Loh Kiwan at his intended location in return for a fee. Remarkably, the cash Loh Kiwan holds is tainted with blood, securely stored in a wallet. To work in Belgium, Loh Kiwan needs to acquire a refugee ID to tap into the benefits for refugees and find a job. Being new to the local tongue, he needs an interpreter. After an interview, Loh Kiwan receives the essential ID to express his ideas. In the interview, Loh Kiwan discloses his North Korean roots and narrates his escape to China. The interviewer probes his work history in China and the origins of his passport and ticket money, leading to a short flashback. In the memory, Loh Kiwan, his mother, and his uncle fled North Korea for China, seeking a brighter future. Loh Kiwan's mother was employed at a modest eatery, and Loh Kiwan had a job before. Yet, a fierce clash between Loh Kiwan's employer and a North Korean lad involves Loh Kiwan, compelling him to dodge the authorities. As a result, Loh Kiwan's mother now labors to sustain them while keeping Loh Kiwan concealed at home to prevent capture. Back in the present, though the money source is a mystery, Loh Kiwan's interview ends favorably. He must now face a second interview, but it's scheduled for several months later. Loh Kiwan asks his interpreter what to do in the interim, voicing worry about surviving without possessions or friends. The interpreter advises that waiting is the sole choice. As dusk arrives and the chill intensifies, Loh Kiwan seeks shelter in a hostel, but on reaching, he discovers a duo already in his bed, making him unwillingly gather his items and leave the room. Uncertain of his next move, Loh Kiwan opts to spend the night in a public lavatory, bearing the hardship. Even with money smeared with blood, Loh Kiwan hesitates to use it, though he's unsure why. Driven to extremes, Loh Kiwan rummages through garbage for leftover food and drink, inadvertently harming his health. As time goes by, he forms a habit of resting in the same public lavatory. One day, Loh Kiwan notices an older man emerging from the garbage bins, gathering glass bottles to sell for a modest income. Motivated by this sight, Loh Kiwan starts to collect and sell bottles too, using the earnings to buy essentials. However, he still avoids using the blood-tainted money, confused by his own actions. On an especially chilly evening, Loh Kiwan discovers the public lavatory locked, forcing him to face the severe street conditions. In search of warmth, he moves toward a nearby blaze, only to meet a group of inebriated youths who attack him without cause, even tossing his footwear into filthy water. Despite this hardship, Loh Kiwan collects his possessions and endures the struggle. Yet, during this ordeal, he falls into the grimy water, soiling his remaining clothes and drenching them. Afterwards, Loh Kiwan proceeds to a laundromat to clean his garments, but again hesitates to spend any cash. Within his wallet, Loh Kiwan holds a precious photograph of his mother, the sole remaining physical link to her. Deep in thought, Loh Kiwan reminisces about the time when the police caught up with him and his mother. Although she denies knowing him, Loh Kiwan manages to save her from the authorities just in time. As they escape, calamity ensues when Loh Kiwan's mother is gravely injured in an accident. Unsure of what to do next, Loh Kiwan's uncle emerges, suggesting he start anew elsewhere despite the impending hardships. Reluctantly, yet driven by necessity, Loh Kiwan is persuaded to escape to avoid police detention. Back in the present, as Loh Kiwan ponders at the laundromat, he wakes to find his wallet gone, along with the girl who took it. He views footage from the laundromat security camera, prompting him to report the theft to the police. As a result, the girl, identified as Mary, is detained by law enforcement. At the station, Loh Kiwan pleads with Mary to return his wallet, stressing its value as the last memento of his mother. Mary confesses to spending the money, leading Loh Kiwan to disclose the harrowing truth. He acquired the funds by selling his deceased mother's body. In a memory, Loh Kiwan's uncle hands him the money, clarifying that it was his mother's desire for Loh Kiwan to have an opportunity for a better life. Stunned by this disclosure, Loh Kiwan contemplates self-harm, but his uncle stops him, leaving Loh Kiwan deeply distressed. He later visits the site of his mother's mishap, overwhelmed with sorrow as he scrubs the bloodied pavement. The bloodied currency acts as a stark reminder of his mother's misfortune, deterring Loh Kiwan from using it. In the current moment, Mary, moved by Loh Kiwan's tale, vows to recover the wallet, which held merely $30. Apprehensive of the police's reaction if more money is implicated, Mary fears the consequences. Kiwan advocates for Mary's release, urging her to promptly return the wallet. Mary assures Loh Kiwan that a friend has the wallet and promises its return the next day. But Loh Kiwan, anxious and impatient, insists on immediate action. Concurrently, Mary's father, Thomas, is there, but she shuns him, their bond strained by her mother's sickness and demise. Mary joins Loh Kiwan, confessing she pilfered his funds due to her crush on Jack and a debt to a narcotics dealer. She confronts Jack to recover the wallet, but he coerces her into a marksmanship contest to win it back. Trained in shooting, Mary's skill is a gambling asset for Jack, who pushes her to compete. Despite her hesitance, Mary feels forced to enter the contest to regain Loh Kiwan's wallet. Surviving the trial, She tells Loh Kiwan to stay busy for a week, vowing to return the wallet afterward. Yet, when Loh Kiwan demands his wallet from Jack, a scuffle ensues. At a crucial juncture, Mary steps in, saving Loh Kiwan and tending to his wounds. In their exchange, Mary discovers Loh Kiwan's daily grind, selling bottles for mere sustenance. In an act of compassion, she gives Loh Kiwan an address, suggesting her father's name might help him find work. She also provides him with fresh attire. As they part, Loh Kiwan reminds Mary of her promise, pleading for its fulfillment. The following day, Loh Kiwan visits the address, and the manager offers him a factory job to sidestep prejudice against North Koreans. Loh Kiwan's identity is modified to appear as Chinese Korean in the factory records. There, he meets Mara, a Chinese Korean who enlightens him on life's various facets, including sexual health. In a troubling prank, Loh Kiwan is trapped in a freezer by co-workers, but Mara rescues him. The factory, a meat processing plant, is where Mara secretly takes meat packets. She confides in Loh Kiwan, revealing her youngest child's cancer fight and the need for surgery funds, driving her to theft. Loh Kiwan's factory role secures him lodging, addressing his critical needs. Meanwhile, Mary's hands shake during target practice, leading Jack to inject her with a drug to quell her anxiety. Mary's trepidation stems from her mother's passing, which happened while she was absent for work. Upon her return, she learned her father had hidden her mother's sickness against her mother's wishes, fearing it would interrupt her training. Misinterpreting her father's motives, Mary stormed out, enraged. Presently, after the injection, Mary's skill markedly improved, and she gave Jack a hefty sum. Jack, honoring his promise, returned the wallet, demanding her participation in future contests. Silently, Mary left, touched by the photo of Loh Kiwan and his mother in the wallet. She then brought the wallet to Loh Kiwan, who reciprocated by inviting her over for homemade Korean cuisine. It had been ages since Mary savored such fare, and slowly, she and Loh Kiwan grew fond of each other. Months later, Loh Kiwan's second interview arrived, yet his claim of selling his mother's remains was rejected by the hospital, which denied such practices. Anxiety mounting, Loh Kiwan turned to Martha, inquiring how she discerned his North Korean origins. Martha cited his distinct mannerisms and speech as indicators. She consented to vouch for him, asking for fish over meat for dietary variety. Regrettably, a mishap with a man and spilled liquor escalated into a brawl, leading to an injury and Loh Kiwan's arrest. Upon hearing of Loh Kiwan's plight, Mary acted swiftly, with her father's aid, to free him. She then departed, advising Loh Kiwan to head home. Before leaving, Mary's father handed Loh Kiwan a lawyer's contact for his refugee case, warning him to keep his distance from Mary, who needed a stable supporter. Despite your struggles here, please look after yourself. Avoid meeting him if you can. With these parting words, he left, leaving Loh Kiwan deeply moved. Later, Loh Kiwan met Levitt, Thomas's referral, who pursued his refugee claim in court. However, Loh Kiwan's manager and Martha falsely testified against him, alleging he was Chinese, seeking to abuse the refugee system. This deceit devastated Loh Kiwan, eroding his trust. Seeking comfort, he approached Mary, who turned him away, demanding prior notice for visits. Meanwhile, Jack informed Mary of a mafia named Grund, investing heavily in her next match. Resolving to concentrate on work, Loh Kiwan refrained from seeing Mary. As Marisa arrives from Kiev, she confesses that the manager forced her to lie under oath. Betrayed, she reveals her impending deportation to China and seeks Loh Kiwan's forgiveness. Loh Kiwan, silent, watches as Marisa is sent away. Meanwhile, Mary competes in a shooting contest, indebted to Jack. After intentionally squandering the prize money, she confronts Jack, claiming her autonomy and vowing to settle her debts independently. Learning of a memorial for Mary's mother, Loh Kiwan visits, hoping to connect with Thomas, who has been a true ally. However, an inebriated Mary attempts self-harm, prompting Loh Kiwan to intervene and save her. In a defiant act, Loh Kiwan endangers himself with a dangerous substance, leading Mary to administer an antidote, saving him. Awakening, Loh Kiwan vows to support Mary against her struggles, marking the dawn of their romance and decision to cohabit. Reflecting on their tumultuous journey, Mary questions their entitlement to happiness, but Loh Kiwan affirms their right to joy and a fresh start. Later, Loh Kiwan receives a letter from Mara with a newspaper clipping from China confirming his mother's death, a potential key to proving his North Korean heritage in court. Concurrently, Jack's threats against Loh Kiwan force Mary to deceive him, leading to a violent clash where Mary shoots Jack to protect Loh Kiwan. The couple flees, but Grad and his gang, seeking revenge, kill Jack and pursue Mary. Loh Kiwan, recognizing the peril, urges Mary to leave Belgium for her safety, despite the challenges of living without refugee status. Mary yearns to stay with Loh Kiwan, who is determined to prove his worth and care for her. Thomas arrives, arranging Mary's departure, and reveals his protective actions were all for her well-being. At the airport, Mary laments their separation, cherishing their encounter despite the stolen wallet, and professes her love before leaving. A year later, Loh Kiwan, now established with refugee status, envisions his mother's pride and his resilience. Resolved to move forward, he departs Belgium with a one-way ticket, seeking a place where he and Mary can find lasting happiness. In the end, Loh Kiwan and Mary reunite, their love undiminished, sharing a joyful embrace and a hopeful future together. This is it for today. I will reconnect with you with another story like this. Until then, this is your host for Movie Recap Vision signing off. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to catch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.